Every culture has a monster they invented to keep children in line. The boogeyman, La Llorona, Baba Yaga. Where I grew up, in a Vietnamese American neighborhood in California, ours was called the Garbage Man. And I spent 30 years telling myself he wasn't real. I was wrong. I need to start at the beginning. I was 7 years old when my mother first told me about him. It was a Tuesday evening in October. I remember because I had gotten a bad grade on a spelling test that day and tried to hide the paper at the bottom of my backpack. My mother found it anyway. Mothers always find everything. She didn't yell. She didn't punish me. She just sat me down at the kitchen table, folded her hands, and told me about the garbage man. Not the one who came on Tuesday mornings in the big green truck. The other one. The one who drove without headlights after midnight. The one who knew which children were failing their classes. Which ones talked back to their teachers? Which ones snuck out after dark? Which ones lied to their parents? She said he had been coming to our neighborhood for as long as anyone could remember. Long before our family moved there. Long before most of the families on our street arrived. He drove a rusted truck. Old and dark, no markings, no license plates that anyone could ever read clearly. He moved slowly, always slowly, like he had all the time in the world. Because he did. I asked my mother how he knew which children to take. She said nobody understood that part. He just knew. The way a predator knows. I asked what happened to the children he took. She was quiet for a long time. Long enough that I started to think she hadn't heard me. Then she said, "Nobody knows. They simply never come back." I went to bed that night and lay in the dark listening to every sound outside my window. Every car that passed, every engine I heard idling. I didn't sleep until sunrise. For weeks after that, I was the best behaved child in my class. Perfect grades, perfect attendance, home before dark every single day. My teacher called my mother to ask if everything was all right because the change was so sudden and so dramatic. My mother just smiled and said we'd had a good talk. Slowly, the fear faded the way childhood fears always do. The garbage man became something I thought about less and less. By the time I was 10, I had filed him away with Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy. A story adults told to control children, nothing more. Then Danny disappeared. Danny sat 2 rows ahead of me in 3rd grade. He was always in trouble. Talking in class, failing tests, getting sent to the principal so often that Mrs. Patterson kept a chair outside her office specifically for him. The other kids laughed about it. Danny laughed too. He never seemed to care about anything. On a Monday morning in November, Danny's desk was empty. Mrs. Patterson told us he had moved away over the weekend. Family emergency. She moved on to the math lesson without another word, but something felt wrong. Danny had been at school on Friday. He'd gotten a 0 on a test. He'd laughed about that too. There had been no sign that his family was planning to move anywhere. I asked his neighbor Michael about it at recess. Michael went very quiet. He said that the night before Danny disappeared, he had heard something from his bedroom window. An engine, low and slow, no headlights. He said the truck stopped in front of Danny's house and just sat there for a long time. Then it drove away. I felt something cold move through my chest. I never told anyone what Michael told me. I didn't tell my mother. I didn't tell my teacher. I was 8 years old and I was more frightened than I had ever been in my life. And something deep and instinctive told me that talking about it would make it more real. So I kept my grades up. I came home before dark. I stayed out of trouble. And I tried to forget. Over the years, I heard other stories. A girl named Maria who disappeared 2 years before I started school. A boy named Tommy the year after Danny. Always the same profile. Kids who struggled, kids who acted out, kids who didn't follow the rules. Always the same explanation from adults. Moved away, family issues, changed schools. Always the same hollow feeling when the explanation was given. Like everyone knew it wasn't true and nobody was willing to say so out loud. I grew up. I moved away from that neighborhood at 18 and never went back. I built a life. A career. A family of my own. The garbage man faded into the background of my childhood the way bad dreams do. Last year my father passed away. The funeral was held at a church 3 blocks from the neighborhood where I grew up. After the service, I drove through the old streets alone. I don't know why. Grief makes you do things that don't make sense. I turned down my old street and I saw the truck, parked at the curb halfway down the block. Engine off, dark, No plates. The rust along the bottom. The dented rear panel on the left side. I recognized it immediately. After 30 years, I recognized it the way you recognize a face from a nightmare. I sat in my car for a long time just staring at it. Then I got out. I walked toward it slowly. The street was empty. It was late afternoon, but the light felt wrong. Too dim for the time of day, like something was absorbing it. I looked through the driver's window. Empty. Keys not in the ignition. Nothing on the seats. I walked around to the back. The rear doors were closed but not latched. Just resting shut. I stood there for what felt like a very long time. Then I pulled the door open. Shoes. Children's shoes arranged in pairs along both sides of the truck bed. Dozens of pairs. Different sizes, different styles, different colors. Some of them looked like they were from the 1970s or earlier. Some looked brand new. I counted without meaning to. 43 pairs, 86 shoes. I slammed the door and ran back to my car and called 911. The police arrived in 4 minutes. They found nothing. The truck was gone. No tire marks, no disturbance at the curb. No evidence that any vehicle had been parked there at all. They were polite. They wrote something in a notebook. They told me grief affects people in unexpected ways. I drove home and didn't sleep that night. I have thought about those shoes every day since. 43 pairs, 86 children, and not one of them has ever been found. Every culture has a monster they invented to keep children in line. But what if some of those monsters aren't invented? What if some of them are just very good at not being caught? The garbage man has been coming to neighborhoods like mine for longer than anyone alive can remember. He is still out there. Still driving slowly after midnight. Still watching. Still knowing which children aren't behaving. And he is very, very patient.